Hi there, everybody. Welcome to another edition of Away Days with Dino. Hope everyone's well. Hope you all had a good week and are doing well so far. I am doing this episode of my podcast as well as on my YouTube channel. So hello. Um, and today I'm just going to be talking about Wildcard Weekend. It's probably one of the most competitive Wildcard weekends I've seen in the last few seasons. Um, just going to go straight into it. The first game is kicking off shortly. It is 9 o'clock at the moment, so the first game is kicking off at 9:30. There was meant to be three games on today. Um, However, the game between Buffalo and Pittsburgh has been called off, and I think has been put back to Monday because of the weather. And if you haven't seen any the latest of what's happening, they were actually looking to pay people $20 an hour plus pay them food and drink to help clear the snow off the field. Um, I don't think $20 now was really enticing enough people to do so when you consider how much it snows in Buffalo. Um, so that game's been called off. I think it said tomorrow, but then I think it's actually been pushed back to Monday. So we'll just hold that one till last. I'm only going to quickly go through these games right now. So, like I said, the first game is tonight. It's in half an hour's time between the Houston Texans and the Cleveland Browns. Now, I'm looking at the stats for these two teams in the season. Um, kind of, kind of evenly. I say evenly matched, but I think Cleveland have the better. Well, have the better of. They had the number one defense according to statistics. They were 19th in passing compared to the Texans 7th in passing. So it's kind of a mixed mixture of things between both teams. Um, Going to the quarterbacks, Flacco, he completes 60% of his passes, 13 touchdowns, 8 interceptions. If we compare that to Stroud, he made 23 touchdowns, only 5 interceptions, so he had a pretty good year. Um, in terms of the ground, in terms of being on the ground, both teams are kind of similar when it comes to rushing. Um, this is kind of a I don't know. This is kind of a hard game. They both played each other early this season as well. Um, with the Browns winning 36-22. That was on Christmas Eve. This game is a bit of a toughie. It is in Houston. Houston are the divisional winners. Were the divisional winners. Um, in the AFC South. But for me, when it comes to playoffs, all regular season just goes out the window, and it's a brand new season from here. In regards to the playoffs and getting to the Super Bowl. So for me, this is kind of a coin toss, but I'll probably go with a Cleveland win on this one. Um, but not without saying it will be a shootout. This will be a game where it's going to be very much open. Both defenses aren't exactly the best, but offensively, both teams can hurt you. Amari Cooper had a good game, had a good season as well for the Browns. So both teams have got weapons which they can hurt. They can both hurt you on the ground as well as in the air. But I think I'm gonna go Cleveland just by a score. Um, I think I'm gonna go down by a score in that regard. But you could probably flip a coin with this game and see how it goes. But I'm gonna go with Cleveland, but only just. But this will be a very very tough game. But also it should be a good one. So um, yeah, we'll see how that one goes. I'm gonna be watching it. It's gonna be in half an hour's time, so I'm just gonna quickly go through all the games now with who's playing, and after that I may come back on and do a preview once these games are done over the weekend. I'm actually looking on the NFL website now. Yeah, the Pittsburgh Buffalo game will be played. Well, it says Monday at 9:30. That's 9:30 UK time. So it will be a 4:30 kickoff on that one. So I'll probably watch that game at work actually. So let's move on. There's not the other game which is being played tonight is a 1 kickoff, 1 o'clock in the morning UK time between the Miami Dolphins and the Kansas City Chiefs. Again, this is going to be one of those crazy games. Both teams play evenly matched. It's at Arrowhead Stadium as well, so the weather's going to be a factor. And this is a game where I think Miami will need to adjust. And I'm kind of hoping that Miami went to Kansas City with a couple of days to spare of this game, because there's no way you can travel from Miami, which is practically the Caribbean in the United States, to go into Kansas City where it's going to be -4, -5, and it's going to be snowing. Both teams, again, I'm looking at the stats. I'm looking at the stats and everything for both these teams. Miami had the #1 offense, so they were scoring for fun at the start of the season. Who can forget the game against Denver? But they were given a bit of a whooping themselves against Baltimore. So they're not a formidable machine, but they can cause damage. This is another one of those games, isn't it? Tua at quarterback for Miami, he had another good season. 4,624 yards in the air with 29 touchdowns, 14 picks. For his saying, he had 1,799 yards, receiving yards with 13 touchdowns. So again, they were doing pretty good, and they were pretty good on the ground as well, with Mustard and Ashan as well. They were very good, both of them, scoring 18 and 8 touchdowns respectively between them. We go to the Chiefs now. Patrick Mahomes again, another solid season, 4,183 passing yards with 27 touchdowns and 14 interceptions. The running game was, it's what you expect from the Kansas City Chiefs as well. Travis Kelce, 984 yards with 5 touchdowns. He was the leading receiver. With Rice, 938 with 7 touchdowns. These are two teams that like to throw the ball. These are two teams who offensively are very good. Again, it's kind of even. It's kind of another even game, very tough game. The weather will play a factor in this game as well. I think obviously being in Kansas City will have that advantage of being a home team. I'm probably gonna go. I'm gonna go with the. I think the Dolphins might win this. For some unknown reason, I just think the Dolphins might shade it. I think Dolphins by a score. That's saying a lot. To go to Kansas City in the weather, with the weather against you, you're not used to weather conditions. The climate's going to be an issue. But for some reason, I just think that there's something that Miami are going to be bringing to this game today, and I think they might just shade it. Might just shade it. So again, this is one of those games where you could just flip a coin, and go from there. But I will go with Miami just to shake things up a bit. And yeah, just I think it'll be good. But again, I could be wrong. I'm saying Miami, but it's going to be a pretty even game. It's going to be an attacking game. So yeah, it's a tough one. That's two games there which are just very tough to call. So we move on to tomorrow. Move on. Go to the AT&T Stadium between the Cowboys and the Packers. Now, I think this one might be a little bit more clear cut with Dallas, but then you never know with Dallas sometimes. Dallas are very Jekyll and Hyde when it comes to playoffs. They just, for some unknown reason, just seem to disappear when time matters. But I don't think that will be the case this time. I think they'll win this one. If this is at Lambeau, I think it'd be more of a closer game. But I think the Cowboys would be a bit too strong here. Um, for the Packers, I mean, the Packers they did rally to get into the playoffs, which they've done very well to do. But I just think that they'll be asking for a bit too much for them in Dallas, and Dallas crowd, big stadium, So yeah, I think Dallas will win this one, J Love had a good season, 32 touchdowns, 11 interceptions, 4,159 yards in the air. Jones and Dillon on the ground, they didn't. No, I think it was more about passing. It was more about the passing game with Green Bay. Um, they were very much average when it came to rushing. Um, Reed and Dubes, yeah, 793 yards and 674 yards. Receiving yards at both with 8 touchdowns each. That's the Packers. So we go to the Cowboys now. Their boys, and see what they've done. Dak Prescott, 36 touchdowns and only 9 picks on the entire year. 116 yards in the air with a 69.5 completion percentage. On the ground, Pollard and Dowdle. Pollard, 252 attempts with 1,005 rushing yards with 6 touchdowns. So Dallas were more about they were more about catering to the air game. CD Lamb, 1,749 receiving yards with 12 touchdowns. Another solid year for him. He's one of the best receivers in the league. What can we say? But like I said, I think this is going to be a game where I think Dallas will be a bit too strong this time. The last time they played each other was last season. Green Bay did win by a field goal, but this is a completely different thing. This is a new season. We're now in the playoffs, and it's at AT&T, which I think Dallas are very very strong at home. So I think this will come down to being a Dallas win. In that regard, I just don't see any other thing for Dallas win in this one. So that's to progress. On to the next game, which would be a Monday morning kickoff in the UK, 1:15 a.m. Between the Detroit Lions and the LA Rams. This is like a Cinderella story for both of these two teams, but Detroit have had a brilliant season this season. They've been a breath of fresh air this season, and and as much as I'm a Falcons fan, I'm so happy to see that they've done well, because ever since I've been watching NFL, I've seen this team suffer with last place finishes in their division constantly. And it's good that they've given something back now, and it's good that the city of Detroit has got something to finally cheer about with their football team. A good year for Matt Stafford, 3,965 passing yards, 24 touchdown passes with 11 interceptions, 62.6% completion, very, very good. Their running game was, just, what can you say about their running game? Running game, I'm talking about this is the Rams. Sorry, I keep forgetting that they done a trade, didn't they? Matt Stafford is for the Rams. I'm going to go to the Lions first. Sorry, guys. Right, Jared Goff, 4,575 yards, passing yards, 30 touchdowns with 12 interceptions with a 67.3 percentage. Montgomery and Gibbs on the ground, again, good solid season for both of those. 1,015 and 945 yards respectively. 13 touchdowns for Montgomery, 10 for Gibbs. St. Brown got 1,515 receiving yards with 10 touchdowns, and Laporta 889 yards with 10 touchdowns also. Now we go to the Rams, which I'm now going to bring up with Matt Stafford. Sorry for the mistake, guys. For you Rams and Lions fans out there, Matt Stafford, 62.6% completion, 3,965 yards, 24 touchdowns, 11 picks. Williams and Freeman on the ground, 1,144 yards and 319 yards. Williams had 12 touchdowns, with Freeman getting 2. Nakua, he had a good season. Receiving yards, 1,486 receiving yards with 6 touchdowns. Cooper Kupp 737 yards and 5 touchdowns. Cooper Kupp, he didn't really do too much this season. And the last time these two teams played, the Rams won. This was back in 2021. They won 28-19, but this is going to be a completely different game. Let's not even joke about this one. Aaron Donald is still going to be on the ground in the D line for the Rams. Still effective. Still one of the best pass rushers in the league. But I just think Detroit will win this game. I think they might have a little bit too much for the Rams here. And I just really want the Cinderella story to continue as well. So, my pick is Detroit to win this. So, we will see how the Lions go. Our next game will be on Monday. There's 2 games on Monday, like I said before, but I'm going to go to the Monday game, which is already scheduled, which is between Philadelphia and Tampa Bay. This game is a bit of again, it's a mismatch. With Philadelphia could have easily won their division. They they were winning their division all throughout the whole season, and they just dropped off, allowing Dallas to claim their division. Offensively, they've been awesome, but again, like I said, they've dropped off a bit with everything that's gone on with them, so it's been a bit unlucky. But they are still a formidable team, and it's not a team that you really want to take lightly. Going up against the Buccaneers team from the NFC South, the NFC South was a very weak division, as you know. Atlanta's in that division as well, and either Atlanta, New Orleans, or Tampa Bay could have won. And to be perfectly honest, I think whoever gone through anyway, I think Philadelphia would have been rubbing their hands together anyway. I'm looking at the stats between both teams. The Buccaneers are 23rd. Their offense is ranked 23rd in the league. Their rushing was ranked dead last in rushing, compared to the rushing yards for Philly. If we go to the game, to the stats, Jalen Hurts, he had 3,858 yards, passing yards with 23 touchdowns and 15 interceptions. Swift had 1,049 rushing yards with 5 touchdowns. Jalen Hurts got 15 touchdowns on his own, 605 yards. Go down to the receivers. AJ Brown got 1,456 yards with 7 touchdowns. And Smith got 1,066 with 7 touchdowns as well. If we go to Tampa Bay, let's see what their boys did. So Baker Mayfield, again, he had a good season, 64% passing completion, 4,044 yards, with 28 touchdowns and 10 interceptions. The rushing yards, White, he got 990 yards with 6 touchdowns. And then the receiving yards. I want to see obviously the first person I want to see about this for the Buccaneers will be Mike Evans, because that's who they're passing to the most. Yep, Mike Evans has 79 receiving completions with 1,255 yards and 13 touchdowns. The only saving grace, I think, for Tampa Bay in this game is the fact that they are at home. However, like I said just now, it could have been Atlanta, it could have been New Orleans, or it could have been the Bucks like it is now, and Philadelphia would have been the same result. Um, I'm not expecting anything else here other than a Philly win. I think Tampa are gonna probably struggle a little bit. It's a bit of a mismatch this game. So yeah, I will go with a Philadelphia win with this one, and I think it'll be a quite comfortable one as well. And then it'll just give Tampa a chance just to readjust and then come back next season. So yeah, I'm gonna go with Philadelphia to win this one. So we now go to the game which should have been played today, which is now going to be played on Monday, between Buffalo and Pittsburgh. So yeah, if you like I said at the start, if you haven't heard, this game has been postponed. It's been pushed back because of the weather. There's quite a bit of snow which is falling out there in Buffalo. So there was no chance of this game being played. Again, this is this is gonna be another tough game to call, but I think with the Bills, the Bills have been they've been quite strong this season. Pittsburgh rallied well to get into the playoffs, but I think with Buffalo, I think with being at home as well, I think they're gonna have the advantage. I think of having that. So I think I'm gonna go with Buffalo for the win. In terms of the stats for the passing, Pickett got 2,070 yards, only 6 touchdowns and 4 interceptions. Harris got 1,335 rushing yards with 8 touchdowns. And Pickens and Johnson, between the both of them, 5 touchdowns each. So yeah, you can see that Pittsburgh kind of struggled a little bit in parts. If you compare that to the Bills, Josh Allen, 29 touchdowns, 18 interceptions, 4,306 yards passing. Cook and rushing got 1,122 with only 2 touchdowns. Josh Allen got 15 of his own. So Buffalo like to run the ball in when it comes to being inside the 5, like to run it in. So he's going to be a project against in this game, if we're being honest. Stephen Diggs, 1,183 receiving yards with only 8 touchdowns for him, but he's still one of the best receivers in the league. This game is going to be a toughie, but I will go with Buffalo with this one. I think Buffalo will probably have a bit too much for Pittsburgh with this one. That being said, again, could the weather play a factor in the game? Who knows? Because when it snows like how it does, it really does cause problems sometimes with teams. A lot of teams just can't handle playing in brutal conditions when it comes to snow and blizzards. But I will go with a Buffalo win here. So yeah, I think they'll win that by probably about a score. So we'll go. So just to summarise, I've gone with Cleveland, I've gone with Miami, Dallas, Detroit, Philadelphia, and the Buffalo Bills to win this wildcard weekend. To be perfectly honest with these 6 games, you could probably flip a coin for all of them, and that will probably be what happened. Like I said at the start again, this is probably the toughest wildcard weekend I've seen in a good while. It's for me, it's a shame that Atlanta's not there, but Atlanta just clearly weren't good enough, so I'm not going to mention them until pre-season in August. So we're not going to talk about them anymore. But all I can say is, the best luck to all 6 teams. San Francisco and Baltimore are waiting, so they're going to be chilling and watching these games at home to see what happens. So we'll look forward to that next week when I do my next preview of the divisional games. So yeah, guys, it's just going to be a quick one today because the game is going to be starting in 5 minutes. I'm going to go and watch that now. The first game is Cleveland and Houston, so yeah, do keep a lookout for it. My next episode of Away Days, I'm going to be looking to talk about something which is involving the Premier League, Football Premier League, in regards to the decline of Premiership strikers. So, is there a decline in Premiership strikers? I'm going to be bringing up 10 players, from 5 from the past, from 10 years ago, and 5 who are playing today in the Premiership, and I'm going to see what you guys think about what I think in regards to these strikers and how the game has changed so much in the last 10 years. But that's going to be my next podcast. Guys, thank you for listening quickly for this one. Enjoy the Wildcard Weekend if you're going to be watching them, and I will see you guys in the next one. Take care.